We have an update, ladies and gentlemen, about a Dallas limo driver who said that Donald Trump pulled a pew pew on him and that he wanted to beat the bleep out of Donald Trump when he found out what Donald Trump did to that little girl.
Now, Donald, you better listen real close to this, boy. I forgive you. Doesn't mean I'm not mad at you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be held accountable for that, and then for having my daughter, by choice, from the time she was 7 years old, having her murdered on January 10th of 2000, 2 weeks after she called the police about you, finally worked up the courage to call the police about you. On Christmas Day, she called the Tulsa Police Department and reported you having raped her.
Meet Dan Faree, good old Dan. This story is insane and includes trigger warnings. Before I go into this, I want you to make sure you understand. He makes it really clear that he is the limousine driver in this story. So in 1995, he says he picked Donald Trump up in his limousine and things got insane.
Then you requested me specifically to come pick you up so that you could intimidate me. You even threatened me with your ignorant gold-plated semi-automatic whatever it was. You did all that because you had raped a little girl around Christmas time of '94, 5 months earlier, who was 14 years old.
He said that he overheard Donald Trump yelling at somebody on the phone named Jeffrey, and what they were talking about was so bad that he wanted to pull the limousine over and beat the bleep out of Donald Trump.
And you bragged while you were on your cell phone to somebody named Jeffrey, about having raped my daughter by choice.
Now, if you really want to know what he recalled hearing Donald Trump say, this is a little bit of it. A few seconds after answering his phone, he began yelling, Donald Trump, quote, Jeffrey, shut the F up. They're like little shrimps or bites of steak. They're for chewing up, swallowing, enjoying, and then bleeping out. They're all just little GD CUNTs. That's all they are. What's this little CUNT's name? D. D stands for Dusty. What kind of little CUNT is named D? Where's the little CUNT from? K? K means Kiefer, Oklahoma. What the F is a K? Oh, in Oklahoma, figure only CUNTs in Oklahoma. Oh, it's the mother shaking us down? So that gives you a little bit of context about why he was so angry and wanted to beat up Donald Trump. Quote, someone ought to bend that little CUNT over and blank her up the blank until she bleeds, and the mother until that blank bleeds to death. Just before he said that, quote, so it's the mother that is shaking us down, end quote.
When I pulled that car over on the side of Highway 114, I had unlocked my briefcase and opened the top of it where my pistol laid. It was loaded with some rounds that would have taken your head completely off of your body. And I came within 2 seconds of grabbing that gun and ending you right there. The only reason that didn't happen was because the spirit of our creators came over me. Said, you can't put your wife through this. It was the thought. So I dropped that car back in drive. Took you on to the airport.
And by the way, in case you're interested in checking this story out, this part checks out. There was a woman named Dusty Rhea Duke who passed away around this time. And here's just some information, some background information that links her to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Daniel goes on to add this.
You know what, Donald? I just a moment ago realized something for the very first time. That day I was driving you to DFW Airport back in 1995. It was either late May or early June. Pretty sure it was late May. And I slowed that car down and pulled over on the side of Highway 114. Had already opened my briefcase where my pistol laid. I could have that day legally ended you, shot you and killed you. Legally, because you were threatening me with that gun. I had never actually thought about that before, until just a moment ago. I could have legally killed you that day, Donald. I remember you saying in an interview years ago, you kind of looked up at the sky and said, this is what you said. You said, I am the chosen one. I believe that actually might be true, Donald. Wow. You really are a sick, sick, sick being.
Now, in another post, Dan says this, which actually makes a lot of sense. He says, once you realize that Donald John Trump's number one goal is to unalive as many human beings as he possibly can, everything he does makes sense. And think about it. You remember what happened with C-19, right? All the Americans that lost their life, right? You think about what happened on January 6th. You look at what's going on with Venezuela, the boat strikes, right, in the Eastern Pacific and in the Caribbean. You think about what's happening with these ICE agents. You think about all these random military strikes he's doing and why he gets along with Putin. This is spot on.